Good morning. Welcome to Books at the Bottom of the Stairs. My name's Lorene. Thank you for joining me today. Last night I was watching a video. I don't really know how I came across it. It had something to do with sensitive psychology, and I just thought, what's that? So I clicked on it, and it was about people who have synchronicity happening in their lives, where they happen to be at the right place at the right time quite often, and they just their thinking seems to coincide with someone else's questions, and so they end up having a very fruitful conversation. And I thought, oh, that happens to me all the time, except it's like what's happening right this very second, where I sit down to talk to you guys, turn on the volume up. Well, answering the phone meant that I had to deal with a different set of circumstances. But what I was trying to talk about was that in my life, things come together, but they're not like good for anybody. It's three people mowing the lawn at the same time, and the phone ringing, and the clock going, and the cat not jumping off the table and knocking over a bowl. Like, I don't have the good synchronicity. It's the chaos synchronicity. So anyhow, that's just a tangent, and I hope you found it amusing. I am talking today to you about, where did it go? Silverborn. The Mystery of Morrigan Crow. This is number 4. It's written by Jessica Townsend. It's part of the Nevermore series. And I'll just hold up the other ones, just for those of you who, like me, started this series. And it's taken quite a while to get this far. Number 4 took at least 2 years. Before they said it was going to come out, then they changed it. It took forever. So which is number 1? Oh my goodness. Okay. There's got to be. This is another thing that I wish publishers would do. You have to look all over to find which one came number 1. I don't know what the order is. Okay, I think this is the first one, Nevermore, The Trials of Morrigan Crow. And I believe this is the first one because that's where she's introduced to the magic of, when she first arrives, and she has quite a reason why she has to be there. She turns, was it 11? And on that birthday, she's cursed, and she's going to be, something's going to happen to her. She's going to be banished from her community, or I don't know if she's going to die, or something's going to happen. But anyways, she's a cursed child. Her birthday was such that was predetermined, and so her life has really been quite miserable. Like, why invest in a kid that's going to not be with us in that society? And so she ends up getting rescued. So that's not really a spoiler, but she has no previous connection with magic. So all these other people who are so comfortable with it, and this wonderful cat, she's just being introduced to this magical world. And what we have is, in the first book, there's world building, but there's enough adventures and characters and really interesting little quirks in the world that's being built that it was quite fun to read. I really was committed to the series at that point. And this one, Hollowpox, oh no, see, they've both got Hollowpox. Hollowpox is number 2. And this cat, oh, sorry, the books are falling off my lap. This cat is one of her protectors, and she lives at a hotel where the rooms are all quite magical, and they can respond to the mood of whoever's using them. And there's a front foyer that changes according to the seasons, and the magical world has been fully fleshed out at this point. And she gets involved in a competition to join a school. I think that's what happens in this number 2. And the same thing that happens is there is a virus coming around. This was written before the pandemic. a virus comes around and it's attacking the magical animals. So like the cat in the picture, she's what would be called a one-animal. And so these animals have got magical capacities themselves, and they can speak in their species, but they can also speak amongst other species as well as with humans. And so they're part and parcel of the community. So they might own a restaurant, or they might be the mayor, or any kind of thing. They're fully integrated. And number 3 is Wondersmith. What we've got more here is a Wondersmith is someone who has got magical capacities that are well and truly beyond the rest of the people. And the previous Wondersmith was quite an evil fellow. And so he ended up murdering a whole bunch of people. And he's not well remembered, but she is continuously encountering this guy, and he wants her to be his apprentice. And this is all potentially possible because of the way the schools are structured. At a certain point, you take on an apprentice. I'm sorry, the apprentices will be chosen to, what is the other side of the apprentice? Mentor? Yeah, a mentor. And so she doesn't want to have anything to do with this bad guy, right? Like, he's a bad guy. She doesn't want to be associated with him. It's just going to be a bad scenario. And so there's all these subterfuge, and there's all these kind of behind kind of sneaky stuff happening. And we get to see the bigger world. There's more of the city, and there's more of other communities, and the evil and the good are becoming much more fleshed out. And we end the book with some pretty unanswered questions. And so that's why I was like, number 4, come on, let's go for it. So they're all fairly big, they've all got quite a lot of pages. And I was thinking, taking so long for number 4 to come out, that, I'll read 1, 2, 3 ahead of time. I did that with Harry Potter too, which was kind of fun. Not towards the end of this series, because the books just kept getting bigger and bigger, and I'm like, oh, you're supposed to be wrapping this up. Anyhow, this has a little bit of the problem that Harry Potter has with wrapping things up. In that there are new things introduced, and as I'm reading through this, I'm thinking, come on, isn't this the ending? Well, about a third of the way through, I thought, there's no way that this is going to be the last book in the series. And I should have figured that out, because it says the best-selling Nevermore series. And where it doesn't really say anywhere in this book that it's going to be the end. So if you're thinking it's going to be a nice, neat wrap-up, no, it's not. Which is fine. It's fine. It was a really entertaining read. We have got some disappointing elements in this book, in that some of the kids that she'd gone to school with aren't playing as strong a role as they had in the first 3 books. And the school is very much less of a building, a site. There is a suburb that is super magical, and it's where the super rich go, and Morrigan Crow might be related to some people in this area, and they're thinking, if she's one of these Wondersmiths, those are the people that created the suburb in the first place, and so maybe she'll come in and she'll work for us. So there's this kind of some people really detest her for what she represents, and other people are, if we're smart, we can manipulate this kid. So there's that kind of a dynamic going on. Her possible aunt has invited Morrigan to a wedding, and at the wedding someone dies, and so there's this murder that needs to be resolved. There's people in the suburb that are keen to resolve it, and others who just want to hush things up. So there's the opposite of every action. There's an opposite. I did enjoy it. I got through it pretty quickly. I felt that certain things were resolved quite nicely from the previous book that did need resolving. But I missed some of those characters from the earlier 3 books, and I couldn't get as in love with the new characters that I was meeting. There were 1 or 2 that I thought, oh, they have potential. Is it enough to make me want to read book 5? I probably will, just because I really enjoyed Morrigan Crow. But I feel that the author, Jessica Townsend, has shifted onto a different train track, if that makes sense. Yeah, I'm not sure that she figured out how she wanted Morrigan Crow to be with these new powers, and I think that, like, there needs to be a mission statement in a way for Morrigan. She knows that she wants to be on the good side of things, and so there's not that much of a challenge in the book itself. She's not troubled so much by the ethics or the nuances, and it's more just she's already made these decisions, so now just what does that look like in the face of choices that she's could be confronted with. That's just a little too simple. I think that there needs to be a bit more subtlety to Morgan's choices, and also the dilemmas that she's coming up against. I felt they were, for someone who's supposed to be as magical and as powerful as she is, I thought that what she was confronting was just kind of ordinary, not that different than what I would have read in any other kind of magical conundrum that kids have to come up against. Also, the other side of this is that Morgan has had way more experience with loss, family loss, environment loss, like she's had to change worlds. She's just not a young, naive kid the way a lot of the others are around her. There's dragons, and the dragons are quite interesting, and there's dragon riders, that was a lot of fun. There's some technology that is really over the top interesting, but it's not explained to you in a kind of way where you think, oh my goodness, I wish they would take their technology and, fly out of here. So no, the technology is rather interesting. There's also, we come back to the Wondersmiths who created this suburb in the first place. There was, I guess, sort of founding fathers and mothers, I guess, who created this world that eons ago that everybody's inhabiting. So there hasn't been a new Wondersmith for a long time, and some of the things that were created initially need repair or patching up a little bit. So there is a potential question about, like, what's Morrigan Crow gonna do? Is she the contractor for propping up this society? Anyways, I don't think I did a particularly good job of talking about this book. I mean, I looked forward to it for so long, and then as I was reading it, I really enjoyed it. But then as I'm speaking about it, it doesn't stick out in my mind quite as much as the other 3. I guess that says something. I also don't know whether that has to do with the length, I'll be talking about it in future. I just finished the Dark is Rising series by Susan Cooper. I'm going to include that in one of my upcoming wrap-ups. But each book was swift, short and swift. And I think that makes a difference when you're trying to talk about alternative worlds and so on. You want to be along with the protagonists and in their world, but the pacing has to be such that you're riding along with them. It's a bit of it doesn't have to be a roller coaster, and it doesn't have to be bumper cars, but it should at least be the kiddies roller coaster, the little bit of speed and a little bit of action. And so some things were just a little too slow in there, and I thought, I think not only did it take too long to come out, I think maybe that the author was struggling a little bit with purpose, intention, and possibly maybe it's one of those cases where the editors or the publisher is just like, we got to get this book out, instead of saying, go back and rewrite that, you've taken a bit too long. Or that's often a criticism that I come to in third books, is that the editors have kind of lost the train too. Maybe that should be a rule in fiction, that the third book should be the shortest. I wonder how many books would improve by that. You know, it's funny, it has almost nothing to do with it, but Thomas Jefferson, I believe this, I'm pretty sure this is a true story. Thomas Jefferson went through the Bible at one point, and I'm pretty sure it was just the New Testament, and he took out anything that wasn't directly connected to the words of Jesus or the miracles. I'm pretty sure this is a true story. And he came up with like a 15-page book or something like that. It was not appreciated by those around him at the time, but it's like, yeah, that's kind of the best parts. It's not that you want to get through the Bible with Cole's notes, but it's like, what is the most important part? Well, the guy who's the prophet and what's he got to say, that's the most important part. So I think, you know, in terms of fantasy, it's the same thing. What's the protagonist really getting up to as she matures into her magic and is coming to terms with the society around her, and they're coming into terms with her? Well, that's it for me. I hope all your reading dreams and adventures continue to come true. And I hope you're not interrupted by any lawnmowers in the near future. Bye-bye for now.